You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt.
Good evening and welcome back On Air with Chris Shanafelt. Don't forget, if you want to check out any of our past shows, you can do so at my website, christianshanafelt.com. That's ChristianShanafelt.com. Also, blogtalkradio.com/Christian Shanafelt, or you can search the show On Air with Chris Shanafelt on iTunes. That's right, we're back on iTunes, so there's certainly more than a few different ways you all can check out the show. Also, YouTube as well. We post all the interviews, podcasts over there as well. Just search On Air with Chris Shanafelt on YouTube. And, again, many different outlets where you can check out the show. I appreciate everybody tuning in, whether you're listening live or on podcast. And tonight we're going to continue our 2019 NFL Draft Prospect interview series as we welcome on another Senior Bowl participant out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference of the FCS. It's a pleasure to welcome onto the show. He's the South Dakota State Jackrabbits All-American cornerback, Jordan Brown. And, Jordan, I really do appreciate you taking some time to chat this evening. How's everything going, man?
It's going good. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show.
The pleasure's all mine. So you and I were just exchanging some text messages, and you said you're fresh off of a training session. I assume you're probably training now for your pro day and, of course, the NFL Combine later on this month. Take us through what today's training session looked like, man.
Well, today is a little unorthodox for me. So I woke up this morning, and my car wouldn't start, so I had to get that in, and I had to switch out cars. So I missed the first workout. Then I got there this afternoon, so I had to make up the morning workout. And then I got done with the morning workout, which was a big bench day today, and it was pretty tough. And I said, am I done? And he said, no, you're going to do the second workout of the day, too. So I had back-to-back test workouts. And it was about an hour and a half, and, yeah, my upper body is hurting right now, so it was definitely tough.
And you still make some time for us. Greatly appreciated. We all know so everybody's dealt with car problems at one point or another, and absolutely no fun to deal with. So, again, really appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, Jordan, and I've been really looking forward to this conversation. Congratulations on what was just an outstanding collegiate football career there at South Dakota State, playing for the Jackrabbits, and you're actually able to represent the Jackrabbits down in Mobile, Alabama. Around this time a couple of weeks ago, you were participating in the Reese Senior Bowl among the top prospects in the 2019 NFL Draft. I want to start things off by just asking you, how did you find out you were invited to the Senior Bowl? If I'm not mistaken, you're also invited to the East-West Shrine Game as well. But that Senior Bowl invite, we all know how special it is. We all know how rare it is to receive it. How did you find out you were invited to the Reese Senior Bowl, and what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, so like you said, I was invited to the East-West Shrine Game at first, and then I kind of just invited that invitation. And then about 3 weeks later, I was kind of waiting on the call from the Senior Bowl. I was kind of like on the bubble, I think. Me and my agent were talking and things like that. And then Jim Mackey actually called me when I got back home from South Dakota and after I packed up all my stuff. And he called me and he said, Jordan, you're going to the Senior Bowl. And I was kind of speechless at that point because it's such an exciting opportunity just for me to showcase my talent. And just the fact that he called me personally was a really good feeling as well. But my initial reaction was I was just in awe at first because that was my goal going to this year, and just to have the opportunity to go there and showcase my talent was big time for me. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're really able to have a great week in Mobile. Sounds like your draft stock is pointing upward after a strong week. What was the main thing you wanted to prove to scouts that you're capable of doing? Any questions about your game that you wanted to answer that week?
For me personally, I don't think there's any knocks on my game at this point, but I thought there was just the scouts thinking that's the level of competition I played with in the FCS and playing in Missouri Valley. Although I do think Missouri Valley is great football, and there's great teams all throughout the valley. So I'm just playing a good competition in the Senior Bowl, receivers, running backs, good quarterbacks. I didn't really notice a big difference in the talent. Just like the speed was a little bit faster, but I think that comes with this the practice pace of this NFL practices and things like that. But probably just going out there and just competing, just my biggest thing. That was my biggest priority all week. I think I did pretty well throughout the week. So.
No doubt about it. You're one of the defensive backs that really had a solid. You're arguably the top defensive back out there in Mobile that week. Again, sounds like your draft stock is only pointing upward from there. Now we focus on the NFL Combine later in the month. But during your experience at the Senior Bowl, were you able to meet with any scouts, coaches, personnel makers at all? I mean, how do you feel the NFL views you? Were you able to get any feedback from some of the decision makers down there in Mobile?
Well, I did meet with a lot of teams. We had a lot of informal interviews. So I probably met with 20-plus teams. Throughout the days in the week of the Senior Bowl, you're kind of walking around the lobby and scouts pull you left and right and things like that. But I had some formal interviews. I talked to the Ravens. I talked to the Texans, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, Seahawks, Jaguars. Those are all formal interviews. So I got to meet some GMs for them. And then I met an owner as well. And they didn't really give me any feedback on what I need to work on and things like that. But I think it was just a great opportunity for me to just kind of get in the groove of just interviews and what I can actually expect when it comes to the combine and things like that. But like I said, it's not only anything that they really gave me things I had to work on and things like that. So.
You named some of the teams you were able to meet with. We're in Chicago, Jordan, and obviously a lot of tradition with the Chicago Bears defense. Any chance you're able to meet with the Chicago Bears at all down there in Mobile?
Yeah, I did meet with the Chicago Bears. I actually remember the scout. He's a pretty cool dude. I do remember meeting the Bears, and it was fun. I would love to play for the Bears. Their culture there is just crazy. And like you said, their tradition down there is second to none. So, yeah.
And, of course, being from Arizona and spending the last 4 or 5 years there in South Dakota, I assume you're probably used to the weather. Talk about your journey to South Dakota State, if you could, Jordan. I mean, again, here you are. You had, again, quite the high school football career. You played at Paradise Valley High School in Scottsdale, Arizona. You broke every receiving record there was to break. How did you ultimately fall through the cracks and find your way to South Dakota State? What was the whole recruiting process like for you? And 5 years later, I mean, how would you describe your overall experience at South Dakota State?
So for me, I didn't start playing football until my freshman year of high school. And then I initially played all receiver my first 4 years in high school. Going to my junior and senior year, I got some looks from colleges and things like that, but I wasn't really highly recruited at all. A lot of big schools like in the Pac-12 and things like that, they were looking at me, but they didn't think I had the speed to play receiver and things like that. So that was kind of just a knock on me coming out of high school. But my junior year, Coach Rogers, our linebackers coach at South Dakota State, he's actually from Arizona. He came down there and visited me my junior year, and he kind of gave me some looks, and he got me up there for a visit my senior year, and that was the only visit I took, actually. I went up there, and it was super cold. Being from Arizona, it's a different culture up there. And I was like, Mom, it's so cold and so much different than home. And she was like, Jordan, this is the only school that's going to pay for your college, so you can. That's the only option you have right now. So I went up there. I committed right there on the spot. So definitely the recruiting process wasn't like too hectic for me at all. It was kind of stressful in the sense that I didn't have very many teams just trying to get me and try to get me to their school. So it's kind of stressful in that way. But I'm glad I went to South Dakota State. And then getting up to South Dakota State my freshman year, I played receiver my freshman year on scout team. I kind of flip-flopped from defense and offense because they didn't really know where they wanted me at. And then my first spring ball going into my sophomore year, Coach Jackson, Coach Dick called me in their office, and they asked me, what do you want to play, receiver or corner? And at that point, we didn't really throw the ball much at South Dakota State. We had a good running game, and I thought defense would be the best opportunity for me to go out there and just showcase my talent. So I played corner for the first time my freshman year, and it was a tough transition at first, and pretty much was a raw athlete. I never backpedaled really, and my coach Jackson, my corners coach, he could vouch for me. I was a work in progress for sure, but he never gave up on me, and he believed in me more than I believed in myself at times, and that's what got me through. And I always did the little things, trying to be corner technique-wise and just trying to get faster and stronger. Then I think when it got to my junior year, I got super, super confident. I was confident in my body. I was confident in just the playbook, and the game slowed down a lot for me my junior year. Then I made some huge strides and had a breakout year. So I was pretty confident going to my senior year. And then the senior year, I just had the mindset that I want to be the best corner in FCS and the best corner in the nation at that point. I had a pretty solid year, and I didn't get targeted very much, so it was kind of frustrating at times, but I think that comes with territory and things like that. But overall, I'd say my just experience at South Dakota State's been amazing. I would never think 5 years ago that I'd be at South Dakota State. I met some great people up there, and the community's awesome. They're big football fans up there. Everyone around town knows you. I have some great coaches. I met some lifetime long friends that will someday be my wedding. So just some valuable lessons I learned as well up there. Just being in the cold, being away from home. You miss your family and things like that. But my parents were able to go to a lot of the home games and some of the away games as well. So that was also great to be up there. And then my little brother Jacob, he also plays South Dakota State, plays receiver. So that definitely made my transition there a lot easier. So, I mean, in essence, it's a big family there. So it definitely helped me a lot.
We're chatting with 2019 NFL Draft prospect cornerback out of South Dakota State University, Jordan Brown, here on air, fresh off of a fantastic week down at the Reese Senior Bowl. And Jordan, that's the next topic I wanted to kind of bring up. Not only are you there at South Dakota State, or were there with the Jackrabbits, but your brother as well, Jacob, who, as you mentioned, played wide receiver. He's a year younger than you. What was that like? Not only having your brother on the same team as you, but playing against them, playing opposite side of them, in practices. What were those battles like on a daily basis, going up against your younger brother? Who got the best of who in those matchups?
Of course, I'm going to say me, but Jacob's a great player. But we definitely had our battles in practice. Personally, I think he's probably the toughest guy on the team for me to guard. I'm just really quick off the line and things like that. But I know all his moves, so it's kind of easy for me in a way as well. But just playing alongside Jacob has been just a blessing. He had a couple offers out of high school because he broke all my receiving records when I left, so he kind of knocked my name off the record book. So kudos to him for that. But then he got up there, and I think he went to South Dakota State mainly because I went there, and he had some bigger offers, some Big 5 offers, and I think he just wanted to be close to me, and that meant a lot to me, just to be able to play with Jacob, and makes it easier on my parents so they can strive to just one game a weekend, not to travel too much. So it's been just a blessing.
Absolutely. And now here you are gearing up for the 2019 NFL Draft, Jordan. This is pretty rare. I mean, you had a teammate that went through this, or a couple teammates that went through this process last year on the offensive side of the ball. But for you, Jordan, when did it hit you that you had a legit shot at playing professional football? When did you realize that you were going to give this thing a shot?
I think for me, just going into college, my main goal after college was to play in the NFL, obviously. I think that's a lot of people's dreams and aspirations. Then also getting switched to corner, that was a big transition for me at first. So it was definitely, and not to say that I doubted myself, but it was still in the rear view just to play corner in the NFL. But I think beginning of my junior year, just a light flip kind of switched for me, and I got super confident and I started playing super well. And I still wasn't on a lot of people's radars after my junior year, and I had a breakout season. So I was kind of just like, wow, it was kind of just, I don't know. It was a tough situation at first, but I ran the 40 at the junior day, and the first time I ran the 40, I ran a 4.39 hand time, and the scouts called me over, and they're like, you have to run it again, because I don't think they thought I was going to be that fast. I don't think they believed it. So I ran it again. Then I ran like a 4.44 and then a 4.42 or something like that. So I ran 3.40s just for them. So that was definitely tough, but I mean, I still proved them wrong at the same time. But I think that was a wake-up call for me, I think. I was like, well, I can definitely go to the NFL, and I can definitely get drafted, hopefully get drafted high at that point. So just to be a corner on my size and running that fast, I think that's a green light for a lot of teams in the NFL. That's like the prototype corner a lot of teams want nowadays. So I think that's when it hit me.
And, playing in the Missouri Valley, Jordan, this is better than a lot of the FBS conferences. I mean, it's absolutely the best in the FCS. So much talent all across the board, and every year we got prospects like yourself entering the NFL Draft. Before we get to opponents, I want to ask you what it was like playing against Dallas Goedert, a former guest of the show, if I may add, who was in the same situation 1 year ago, which led him to be drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the second round of the NFL draft. What were those battles like over the years? Of course, also Jake Weineke had himself a great career there at South Dakota State, one of the best receivers in really FCS football history. Went on to have a stint with the Minnesota Vikings last year. What were those battles like over the years against Dallas Goedert, tight end, wide receiver Jake Weineke, and how did they ultimately make you better? And this is a two-part question. And any chance you've heard from Dallas or Jake Weineke, have they given you any advice as now you look to kind of follow their footsteps into the NFL?
Yeah, I got to give some credit to them as well. I mean, my first 2 years going to corner, and it was definitely a tough transition, like I said. But going against them, they're tough competition. So I used to follow Jake around in practice wherever he went. So kind of just matching up wherever he was at, just to get the best look for me to be a better player. He could do it all as a receiver. And going against Dallas, he's something else. He's dynamic in the running game, in the pass game. He's big, he's fast, he's quick. So I kind of have the best of both worlds guarding them. So it definitely made me a better player. So I can make me more of a versatile corner. And I can guard numerous body types of receivers and pass catchers and things like that. And then, I do. I talk to Dallas and Jake probably once every 2 weeks and things like that. Dallas usually just gives me he's kind of a laid-back kind of guy and kind of a chill guy. So he kind of just says trust the process and just be patient and everything's going to work out. You're there for a reason, he always says. And it's always good to hear that from him because he was in the same situation as me last year. So it was just definitely good to hear from him all the time. And Jake Weineke, that's one of my best friends. He's had a lot of his process of NFL is definitely crazy, and I think he's playing in the CFL now, so that's really great for him. That's a good opportunity for him as well. But he always just tells me the same thing as Dallas, just trust the process and everything can work out the way it's supposed to, and just keep working hard and things like that. So.
We mentioned some teammates, Jake Weineke, Dallas Goedert, your brother, Jacob Brown. Talked a little bit about or spoke a little bit on the overall talent there in the Missouri Valley. When looking back over the past 4 years, Jordan, I mean, is there a specific player or two that you've lined up against on game day that really stands out? A player that maybe has gotten the best of you in a certain matchup, or was just really tough to go up against over the years?
I'd say probably Doris Fowler in Northern Iowa. My sophomore year and junior year, we battled. I think we played like 3 or 4 times in that 2 years and played in the playoffs and regular season, things like that. That's one of my guys now, though. We talk frequently, and he kind of talks to me about the whole process he went through last year and getting jashed about the Colts and things like that. But he was definitely one of the toughest matchups I went against, and I followed him everywhere around the field. And he got the best of me sometimes. I got the best of him, but it was just a battle. Like, it was just a pure football battle, one-on-one. It was fun to watch, and it was fun to compete against him. So, yeah.
I remember watching Doris Fountain last year at the East-West Shrine game. Obviously, Shrine game MVP and had a great week out there now. Wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, so certainly not a bad choice. And, again, he had himself quite the career at Northern Iowa. I can't have somebody on from the South Dakota State Jackrabbits without mentioning North Dakota State, Jordan. What were those battles like? How amped up were your teammates for those matchups over the years, and exactly how deep does this rivalry go? I mean, is this I gotta think it's a game that's always marked on your guys' schedule every year.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the best FCS rivalry that's been in FCS for a long time now. We try to say in practice and throughout the week preparing for NDSC, it's another game. I think we approach like that as well throughout the whole week. But something about when you hit Saturday and you wake up and you're in Fargo or you're in Brookings playing everything just kind of switches. And there's no game, there's no place playing like in Fargo, and the atmosphere there. And then when they came to our house in my junior year, the atmosphere there in Brookings was crazy as well. It's always an intense game, and we know each other so well. It's kind of scary because we played I don't know how many times in the last 4 years since I've been in college. So it's definitely a crazy atmosphere, and it's always a fun game. They're always close games, and it's always a battle. So.
Again, he's Jordan Brown, the cornerback out of South Dakota State University, 2019 NFL Draft prospect. And for those who may not be too familiar with your game, Jordan, how would you describe it? I mean, what type of a cornerback are you? Again, not too many people maybe watch South Dakota State football, and now they see your name come across the screen on draft day. They want to get to know you. How would you kind of define your game for those who may not be familiar with you?
For me, I'd say I'm a very confident player out there. I play with a lot of passion. I think that's the best part of the game of football, is just playing with passion and energy. But skill set-wise, I'd say I'm just a long corner. I'm versatile. I can play off. I can press. And I think a lot of corners in college just like to go down there and press guys down. And that was kind of how I was at the Senior Bowl as well, I think. Our coaches wanted us to press a lot, but got to the game and I played off. And I think when you play off coverage, you can just kind of demonstrate that you're smooth and you're fluid in your movements, and you have quick hips and you have fluid hips as well. So I think footwork's also a great feature that I have as well as a corner. And I'm physical. I love to tackle people and things like that. So it's a good football player overall.
And what was your official? What did you officially measure in at the Senior Bowl? Did I see 6 feet, about 190?
Yeah, I was 6 foot 199.
Oh, 199. Okay, yeah. So as you mentioned, some great size to the cornerback position. And again, back to your wide receiver playing days, Jordan. How much does it help you being that you used to play the wide receiver position? Maybe not so much at the college level, but again, the outstanding high school career you had at the receiver position. I mean, does that help you out at all, or did you kind of just throw that away when you got to the college level?
Definitely didn't throw it away. Playing corner, we have like the mantra of corners can't really catch it all. But I like to think I have great ball skills, and I think that carried on from high school playing receiver all those years. So that definitely helped playing corners, getting interceptions and things like that, getting your hand on the ball, and getting used to having the ball in your hand as well. And then getting to college, not much like routes and stuff like that and playing receiver, but just like knowing the route concepts and knowing what receivers like to do off the line and what they look for in secondary players, that's helped me tremendously playing corner. So.
And, of course, you had 8 career interceptions there at South Dakota State. Now you look forward to the NFL Combine. You did indeed get the invite to participate in the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Where are you training for the Combine? Any goals that you'd like to reach at the Combine, whether it's 40 time, bench press, vertical leap, anything like that?
I'm training in Exos in Phoenix, Arizona right now, my hometown.
Nice.
So I'm doing that right now. There's a lot of good players here as well, and it's pretty packed at Exos, but it's a great experience, and I think it's the best place to train in the country right now. And goal-wise, I guess you'll have to see that at the Combine. You can watch on TV, NFL Network, and things like that, but I definitely have some numbers in mind, but you just have to tune in and watch for that. So
I like it. Who are a couple players that you kind of like to watch over the years, past, current NFL players that you kind of like to take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
I really like watching Darius Slay from the Detroit Lions. I think he's a heck of a player, and he's kind of like my body type as well. He can kind of do both things, play off, press guys down, and I think he's a premier corner in the NFL. And then you got to love watching Jalen Ramsey play the cornerback position. He's super confident. He talks a lot of smack out there, but he backs it all up with his play, and he's super fun to watch. And I try to just emulate him in the way he plays the game with so much passion and energy. I think it's second to none, and I think that's why he's also so good. So those two guys definitely helped me a lot just in my game and what I like to put in my game.
Are you a talker on the field? Do you try to get in the heads of wide receivers on game day?
I'd like to say I'm quiet out there until someone else says something to me, and then that kind of gets under my skin, and I kind of get going from there, and then it's kind of hard to shut me up, I think. But I think that kind of gets me going in a way as well.
All right, so let's fast forward maybe 5, 6, 7 months down the road, Jordan. Who's an NFL wide receiver that you're really looking forward to lining up across?
Definitely Odell Beckham. He could do it all. I know he likes to talk, and he's a hell of a competitor, and I think this Odell would be a great matchup. And I've always wanted to go against a sister guy in the league because he can do it all, and he's fun to watch. He's one of my favorite players to watch the opposite side of the ball, so that'd be a great opportunity for me as well.
And last question, then we'll let you go. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're tuned into this very interview. Why should they want the All-American cornerback out of South Dakota State University, Jordan Brown, a part of their organization?
I would just say that if you want a guy that's passionate about the game of football, that loves the game of football, that's going to do the right things on and off the field, is a team guy, is going to always be there for his team, and he's reliable, he's durable, he's trustworthy, never going to have any issues with him off the field, and within all that, you get a hell of a football player in the process, and I would love any team to be drafted to draft me, and just give me an opportunity to play, and that's all I ever needed the last 8 years playing football, just an opportunity, so yeah.
You've made the most of every opportunity that's come your way so far, whether it's at South Dakota State, whether it was a couple weeks ago down in Mobile, Alabama at the 2019 Reese Senior Bowl. Certainly looking forward to seeing you make the most of the opportunity given to you or earned by you later on this month at the NFL Combine. And Jordan, really do appreciate you taking some time this evening. Wishing you all the best, man. Congrats on all the success. And again, thanks so much for your time. Good luck, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.